iron to gold, the only advice that I could give you is just grind your aim.
Hmm.
You don't need anything but just grind your aim. Yung game sense plus na lang muna yun. But for iron to gold, grind your aim. Do death matches, okay?
Once again, everybody, what's up? What's up? My name is CptCinnamon. This is episode 5 of Cinnamon Sessions. This is probably the world's most inconsistent podcast that I constantly promise to be a little bit more consistent, but I'm doing a little bit of a better job. I've been doing this is my third podcast now in about 2 weeks, so I'm trying to be a little bit better about it. Today we are joined by an amazing guest, probably the most excited I've ever been for a podcast. Once again, the podcast, by the way, is live both on Facebook and on Twitch. So if you guys do have Facebook accounts, or if you guys are watching it on Facebook, make sure you guys like and share the stream. If you guys are have Twitch accounts, or if you are on Twitch, maybe a sub would work. Share it off if you want to as well. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Coach Hama TV, go ahead and introduce yourself to our stream.
What's up, guys? What's up, mga kapatid? So, you know me as Coach Hama of Team Kadiliman, previously coach of Team Kadiliman, and also previously coach of Affinity Esports, which you saw on the previous tournaments that you see at VCT and tournaments previously on Valorant. Yeah. So, it's such a big honor to be here at Cinnamon Sessions doing a podcast. Yeah. So let's hit it up with some questions that I'm ready.
There we go. No, dude. The honor is absolutely mine. The honor is absolutely mine. I'm not gonna lie. I'd be lying if I said that anytime I send out an invite that I don't wait by my phone like every minute to try and see for a response. So as soon as I saw you replied to me, bro, my attention perked all the way up. But once again, Coach Hama, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
What are your gaming starts, by the way? So I know that you coached for Affinity and Kadiliman, but like, you know, how did you get your content creation starts? Kumbaga.
Paano nagsimula? So it started off when I was playing CSGO.
CSGO, okay.
Yeah. Because nag-pro team ako sa CSGO. Tapos after that, nag-start yung Valorant ng Act 1.
Okay.
Nung nag-pro team ako sa CSGO, umalis ako kasi nag-flying school ako eh. Quick ano lang pala, I'm a pilot previously. Tapos syempre, di kinapos masyado, then I started streaming at Act 1 Valorant. Yeah.
Okay.
Yun. Tapos nung nag-stream na ako nung Act 1 Valorant, doon ako nagkaroon ng pro team, then nag-stop streaming na ulit ako. Tapos ang nangyari is, yun, tuloy-tuloy na. So nag-stream ako, guys, viewers is just only 2, 1, 5.
Right.
Oh my God. Pero nandiyan pa rin sila eh, yung 5 taong yun, yung laging sumusuporta sa'yo.
Yeah.
Pero appreciated ko yung mga taong ganun. Kasi syempre, alam mo yun, nandun pa rin sila sumusuporta sa'yo miski nung wala ka pa eh.
Oo, talaga.
Then nun, nag-start ako stream Affinity.
Okay.
Tapos yun nga, nag-pro team ako, then I quit Affinity. Then, mga ilang months ata, kinuha na ako ng Kadiliman.
I got you.
Sila MJ. Unang banggit ko sa KTM, nung sumali ako doon, I won't stream, sabi yung ganun. I'm not a streamer. You got me as a coach.
Right.
Or you got me as an in-game leader, sabi ko. Ayoko mag-stream, gusto ko mag-top 1 Philippines tayo. Yun yung sinabi ko sa Kadiliman nun. Then mga ilang weeks lang, stream ka na. So pinastream nila ako.
Sila mismo yung nag-push sa'yo.
Sila yung nag-push sa akin. So nag-stream ako. Nung nag-stream ako, grabe yun, first stream ko, nagulat ako, 450, 500. Tapos ang daming chat or comments na hindi ko maano. Grabe yung fanbase ng KDM nun. Hindi ko masundan yung chats nun. Then doon ako nag-start. Yung naging hit ko, kaya tumaas like yung yung streaming ko is yung tutorials. The tutorials. Yeah.
Okay. And I've seen you post a lot of it. I think the first video na nakita ko sa page mo, the one that you had pinned at the top was like your KO tutorial. I
Yun.
watched a good decent amount of it. So nung ano, when you were playing ano ba, a CS:GO basically before Valorant came out, were you streaming at the time or wala talaga? You were just playing?
Wala, naglalaro lang ako
Oh,
pro team
oh,
halos,
but you
yeah.
were on a pro team as
Practices,
well. Ah,
mm.
what team was that?
Equal Esports. So, composition nun is yung mga previous teammates ko. Kilala niyo si Cheng ng GXR,
Yep, of course.
si
Uh-huh.
Josh S ng Sunsparks, yun yung mga
Uh-huh.
previous teammates ko nun. Tapos
Oh,
yun the
okay.
rest, hindi na nag-continue sa Valorant.
Got you,
Yun.
got you. Did you find the switch to Valorant to be pretty easy coming from I know, coming from a decent like CS background? Or did it
Hmm,
kind of like catch on to you immediately then?
kasi sa CS:GO, I'm less of an aim person,
Mm,
so more of a brain person. So more
okay.
on tactics, gameplay, gano'n. Yun dun ako
Got you.
malakas.
Uh-huh.
So nung nag-transition ako sa Valorant, nag-fit in agad ako sa laro. Kasi
Mm-hmm.
sa CS:GO nun dati, if you have God aim,
Mm-hmm.
you're really a god at playing the game,
Sure.
'di ba? Dito
Yeah.
sa Valorant kasi, okey lang maski hindi God yung aim mo. Pansin
Mm-hmm.
mo, maraming maraming like high level CS:GO players who transition to Valorant na
Mm-hmm.
parang hindi naman gano'n ka ano lakas, 'di ba? Pero
Mm.
merong mga matatalinong maglaro na nag-transition sa Valorant na
Mm-hmm.
mahina sa CS:GO ta's ang lakas sa Valorant, yun yung ano tinatawag na lumalaban gamit sa utak. So
Got you.
basically parang malakas sila more on, utilities,
Uh-huh.
usage, gano'n.
Uh-huh.
Connection with teammates, hindi parang one man team na sa CS:GO na, "Ako si Simple, I can carry you." Na
Right.
something like that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Got you.
hindi gano'n.
Since we're pretty much in the gist of it now when talking into detail about I know about like micro gameplay differences between I know Valorant and CS. um by the way, for the people that are watching, this is going to be a huge talk, or the conversations are going to surround Valorant, and of course Coach Hama's history and perspective about stuff as well. But yeah, a good amount of it, like I told my chat before this podcast went live that I'm gonna pick Coach Hama's brain like crazy because there's so much that I want to know as well. But what do you think are the parang the micro play differences between CS and Valorant? Which do you think is kind of, from a tactical standpoint, like which do you think is like harder to kind of parang i-map out or to plan out between CS and Valorant in your opinion?
Sa CS:GO kasi parang you have utilities, but
Right.
utilities are counted, 'di ba?
Mm-hmm.
So may 2 flash ka, 1
Right.
smoke, 1 molly, and 1
Mm-hmm.
grenade, 'di ba?
Mm-hmm.
Tapos hindi ka naman puwede magkaroon ng molly at grenade at the same time. Isang flash
Mm-hmm.
lang mabibili mo, gano'n.
Yeah.
Unlike sa Valorant kasi,
Mm-hmm.
may certain types of agents na may flash lang.
Uh-huh. That's true, of course. Mm-hmm.
Mm. So, kumbaga pagdating sa technical side of the game, which
Mm-hmm.
is harder,
Mm-hmm.
it's Valorant. Kasi,
Because of the limit.
um mm,
Uh-huh.
let's say for example, Jet is like updrafting a
Right.
site, then,
Uh-huh.
she goes into the site,
Uh-huh.
but there's no such thing as you shoot in midair like CS:GO unless you jump from a big point of space.
Uh-oh.
Na dun walang mababaril. Like,
Right.
unlike sa game mechanics ng Valorant, you see Ray satcheling in,
Right.
Jet like flying up top,
Uh-huh.
eh,
Uh-huh.
and it's very different. It's like all of the FPS games combined together, but the aim mechanics is basically CS:GO.
Mm,
Pero pagdating sa pagbabaril sa midair, it's like Apex Legends,
that
it's
is
like
true. Overwatch.
Overwatch,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, 'di ba? So, yun lang. Yun lang yung sa
Okay.
side ko sa
Got you. Got you. So you mentioned that, of course, when Kadaliman picked you up, did they immediately take you as a coach, or were you a player for like a certain amount of time?
Nung kinuha ako ng KDM,
Uh-huh.
Kadiliman, ang nangyari nun is, kinuha nila ako dahil in-game leader. Kasi
Okay.
yun talaga yung role ko. Then
Okay.
coach kasi ako sa Affinity nung time na yun, na umalis ako, coach na talaga ako.
Okay.
Tapos nung gusto nila ako maglaro, parang sabi ko, parang ayoko na maglaro,
Mm.
sabi ko gano'n. So magco-coach na lang ako tapos more on game analytics na lang,
Right.
tignan na lang kung ano mali,
Uh-huh.
tapos improvement of each players, parang gano'n.
Mm.
So, umabot ako sa point na sinabi ko kila Narp, "Tara, mag-coach na lang ako then kunin natin si RJM." RJM is a player from Affinity na
Okay.
ano, umalis din.
Mhm.
So yun, nabuo yung Team Kadiliman nun with Super MJ, Yanagi, RJM, Narpim, and
Mhm.
Face. Yun yung
Okay.
original. Tapos ako as a coach.
I
Yun.
see. Got you, got you. How much so back when you were I know so I know of course obviously you did leave the team, you're no longer coaching for them, but back when you were
Hmm.
still coaching for them, like as like an esports coach in your experience, specifically for Valorant, like how much prep time, like how stressing is it actually to be a coach?
Um, mas nakaka-stress kaysa sa player,
Uh-huh.
gano'n.
Uh-huh.
Kasi parang natutulong mo lang sa kanila is preparation,
Uh-huh.
time out for mid-round calls, gano'n.
Right.
Or
Uh-huh.
if they're doing well, nice
Uh-huh.
one, something like that. Like more
Exactly. The
on
motivation.
yeah, more on mental, eh, pagdating sa
Yeah.
game,
Uh-huh.
'pag coach ka. Pero mas training siya kasi kunwari natalo yung team mo,
Exactly.
ta's sila
Uh-huh.
depressed na
Mm.
mahirap ma-depress ka din, eh.
Right, that's actually true. Yeah, you kailangan
Oo,
ikaw talaga yung ano eh, yung parang
hmm,
matatag. You have to be there to kind of uprise their spirits and whatnot.
hmm.
Got you.
So
Mm-hmm.
medyo mahirap pero doable naman,
I
gano'n.
see. Okay.
Oo.
Do you so like how much time do you spend like reviewing VODs from like other tournaments and whatnot? Is there do the players also like do the same for like VOD review, like when it comes to like reviewing other teams and also reviewing yung mga previous matches nila, for example?
Scrimmages, like
Uh-huh.
scrimmages, bago mag-VOD watching. So, VOD watching namin is papanoorin namin yung kalaban,
Okay.
dun papasok yun. Tapos sa
Mm,
scrimmages, ang gagawin namin sa scrimmages, pag-aaralan namin yung kalaban namin at kung ano yung ginagawa sa'min. Then
mm,
gagayahin namin, then
I
application na,
see. Okay.
gano'n. Kasi,
Got you.
um kasi yung NA scene at Southeast Asian scene,
Mm-hmm.
iba kasi yung tinatawag nating asim natin as Pinoy, eh.
Right.
Alam mo yun?
Uh-huh. Syempre.
Hindi naman natin matatanggi yun, eh.
Uh-huh.
So, parang yung NA and Southeast Asian scene, 'pag in-apply
Mm-hmm.
mo yung NA strats dito,
Mm-hmm.
minsan hindi nagana,
Mm.
yun. So, basically ang ginagawa ko is kung ano yung kunwari nag-VOD review ako, nag-scrimmages sila, let's say kalaban namin Japan.
Mhm.
And Japan does this weird things on scrimmages.
Mhm.
As in super weird.
Oh,
Like
really?
They play
Uh-huh.
Viper on Haven, they play Viper on Bind, they have two
Uh-huh.
smokers, something
Uh-huh.
like that. Then dun namin i-te-testing yung kunwari nakuha namin yung idea na yun. Then ang gagawin
Okay.
ko, "Try niyo 'to, adjust tayo, sino yung
Uh-huh.
Viper natin ngayon?" Then scrim ulit kami.
Uh-huh.
'Pag di gumana, tapon.
Then you okay.
And then another one, panibagong ano na.
Got you. I don't know if you can give like an exact answer to this, but you like out of all the scrims that you do, ilang percent is dedicated to like kind of like trying those new stuff na ano that you just talked about versus trying to rehearse or master yung parang nakasanayan nyo na? Do you spend more time
Hmm.
in scrims like testing out or experimenting, or do you spend more time just trying to rehearse yung parang ano the usual stats na ginagawa nyo?
It depends kasi sa timeline na ibibigay sa'yo ng isang tournament. For
Mm,
example, ah, this month, then next month VCT na.
yeah,
So you have like 4 weeks of preparation time.
sure.
Tapos sobrang onti nun para ma-master mo yung panibagong agent na i-aano
Yeah.
namin.
Uh-huh.
So minsan testing out the waters lang kami, like
Mm-hmm.
testing namin one scrim.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, next day is original lineup. Then
Mm-hmm.
next day is gano'n ulit, yung may bago na naman, ganito,
Mm-hmm.
ganyan. Tapos aabot ka sa point na, okey din pala 'to 'no, like eto na yung i-ano natin, set default natin 'pag ganito yung map, ganito,
Mm-hmm.
ganyan. Ta's yun na yung nangyayari pagdating sa ano, sa agent picking or agent selection na pwede nyo i-apply sa VCT. Yun. Yun bumabagsak yun.
I see. I got you. How are you? What is your opinion so far on not just like the current meta across like VCT regions, but like previous patches or previous like VCT events as well? Like, what is your opinion on the meta? Are you happy with the way things are going? What kind of changes do you think would you like to see so far sa the way Valorant is being played at the moment?
Yung meta ngayon, actually pagdating sa meta, halos lahat dito ng pro player nakaka-adapt sa meta na pero ibang-iba kasi talaga yung ginagawa ng Korea, Japan. Parang they're creating their own meta.
Yeah.
Parang yun kasi yung maganda eh, 'pag nagke-create ka ng own meta mo. Parang hindi ine-expect ng kalaban.
Of course.
And also, mas hindi nila mababasa yung kung ano yung strat na gagawin mo.
Right.
Katulad nito, let me just give you an example of a
Sure.
meta. We scrimmed, hindi ko alam yun. Hindi ko alam if it's Paper X or something.
Okay.
Tapos, ang role nila is Dual Initiator, no Sentinel.
Interesting.
Dual
Okay.
Dual Initiator, isang Sentinel pala, isang
Okay.
Duelist, tapos isang Smoker.
Mm.
Yun lang yung setup nila.
Okay.
So, let's say for example, Bind, 'di ba? May Sky ka, tas meron kang Sova.
Sova, yeah.
Okay. So, pwede mo i-fake yung both sides.
Right.
Sabihin natin, ang isip ng kalaban mo is initial strat nyo, ay hindi kasi si Sova nagdo-drone yan to call setup. So pag nag-drone, kung saan si Sova nag-drone, dun sila magsiset. You have Sky at the same time.
Exactly.
You can pick it out. You can switch them up. You can like drone in for Sova again, then set up the same site. Parang ganun. Pwede mong paghalu-haluin. Tapos dun kami natalo. Natalo kami dun sa bind na yun.
Kasi it's like really hard to predict.
Ang defender kami noon and hindi namin alam ang gagawin namin kasi hindi namin alam kung yung dog ba yung setup, yung drone ba yung setup.
I see.
Yung Astra nila naka-double setup like A and B. So hindi mo talaga alam kung ano babagsakan. Then cut off yung both sides. It's like hindi sila makaka-adapt na, uy, A na, rotation, ganun. Late na yung rotation nila, patay mo na yung site, at yung dalawang darating, let's say for example, sabi, sobrang late kasi di nila alam kung ano nangyayari. Parang ganun. Yun yung sa amin. Which is, yun yung meta ngayon. Yun yung nagiging meta ngayon. Yung dual initiator setup na Sky Sova.
Right.
Yun.
What about comps, like especially the ones that the regions like EU have been running yung mga no duelist comps? What is your opinion on stuff like that?
Yung no entry, lahat sila like entry and all utilities.
Because I think it was like Fnatic that started running it on Haven, where they use Brim. They use Brim and Viper, if I'm not mistaken, and they have Astra, and I forgot kung sino yung other. They always have. I know that they have Scream on Sage. Yeah. So what about
Sage,
your
Sage Sky ata yun eh. Tama.
I think so. So what's your opinion on that? The no duelist comps.
Pag no duelist kasi like ang pinaka set mo is just hold an angle. Play default. Yeah. Like every game, play default ka. Mahirap mag mid-round call nang walang entry fragger.
Yeah, that's actually true. You need someone to get things going.
Pero yung nagsispace sa kanila nun si Sky eh, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Magka-flash si Sky, tapos siya na mag-entry.
I see. Have there been
may gumawa na rin nun, Oasis game, OG.
They
Dati
ran.
nakalaban namin.
Got you. Have you guys tried running no duelist comps, or talagang it's not really something that you have in the playbook?
Wala talaga eh. Kasi parang it all depends on the player's capabilities talaga. Hindi let's say for example si MJ like magaling siya mag-entry. Pag hindi mo siya binigyan ng duelist, parang hindi mo ma-maximize yung capacity ng isang tao.
Right, that's true.
And mahirap talaga yun. Sobrang hirap talaga nun.
Are you an advocate for people playing agents that is up to their strengths, or do you try to focus more on parang sticking to what is meta, by the way, just to kind of ride back on that thing that you said about MJ?
Mm. Ano kasi, like, um, mas maganda ipa-flex role mo yung mga supports
Mm-hmm.
rather than yun dun sa mga duelists mo. So,
Right.
parang best of both worlds, 'di ba?
Okay.
So, sticking to meta ka and at the
Uh-huh.
same time is you're giving your player his
Mm-hmm.
comfort zone,
That's true.
gano'n.
Got it. Got
Kasi
it.
kasi may mga taong ano, eh, like kunwari di nakakapatay
Mm-hmm.
sa tournament, "Di ako makapatay," gano'n.
Yeah.
Yung mga
Uh-huh.
gano'ng tao, eh.
Uh-huh.
So, mas maganda kung bibigyan mo siyang role na alam mo may use. Kunwari maski hindi siya makapatay, yun nga si MJ, maski hindi siya makapatay, sinasabi ko sa kanya, yung deaths mo sa round winnings mo, yan ang good entry.
Uh-huh.
Yun sabi ko sa kanya, gano'n.
Uh-huh. Because you're
Yung parang
capturing and controlling space.
yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yun yung tama. So 'pag hindi siya nakapatay, umentry ka lang ng umentry basta mapanalo mo yung round sa pag-entry mo, okey ka na.
Okay na.
Yun lang yung sinasabi ko,
I
oo.
see.
Kasi kasi bonus kills na lang, eh, 'pag umentry ka, eh. Bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Kills is a bonus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then space is like a big impact on taking
Mm-hmm.
a site. Yun.
Got you. And I feel like that's a misconception that a lot of people have when it comes to entry fraggers. Although I would say it's mostly just, I don't know, maybe people that don't exactly have that deep of an understanding of how the game is supposed to go. But some people, whenever they see the word duelists or entry fraggers, parang ini-equate nila palagi na all nothing but kills na dapat you're supposed to be at the top every single time. Pero that's not
Yes.
always the scenario. So
Tama.
one thing that I wanted to bring up obviously is I feel like the team right now, which is kind of like at the peak of the mountain, which coincidentally I am repping today, Sentinels. Do you watch like a lot of their matches? Do you are they a team that you like VOD review to understand their strats a lot?
Yes, yes. Oh, Sentinels. Ang ano lang kasi ng Sentinels is ano nila, eh, high risk, high reward lagi sila maglaro, eh, gano'n.
Mm,
And at the same time yung si Tens yan, high risk, high reward player, 'di ba?
right. Uh-huh.
Pero buma-back up sa kanya na hindi high risk, high reward na player.
Uh-huh.
Which is sabihin natin for example si Shazam, si Dap.
Shazam. Mm-hmm.
Si Shazam, si Dapper, sila. Parang nagsusuportahan sila sa kanya-kanyang strengths. Yun naman
Right.
talaga as a team, eh, 'di
Mm,
ba? Like, Tense is like good at getting off initial kills, like
mm-hmm.
initial pick-offs, 'di
Mm-hmm.
ba? So, mina-maximize nila yun. Like, utilities ibabagsak nila kung saan papatay si Tense,
Right.
gano'n. Or minsan hinahayaan lang nila si Tense. Malakas kasi talaga, eh.
There are. What do you?
Parang ano yun, ano yun?
Oh, so I was just gonna say, nah, like as dominating as they've been for like quite some time now. I honestly, from my, I don't know if it's just me being like extremely PP brain or something, or maybe I just haven't spent the time trying to understand them. What is it na you think na, in your opinion, makes Sentinels, as strong as they are? Why have they been like this dominating so far?
Ano, siguro paano ko masasabi? Kasi minsan kasi, ano, eh, like utilities matter,
Yeah,
right?
of course. Mm-hmm.
But sa kanila ang ginagawa nila gina-grab nila yung situation mismo, eh. Like,
Mm,
ang dami nilang ginagawang like out of parang out of technicals, eh.
okay.
Sa parang ano, sabihin natin sa orchestra,
Uh-huh.
biglang nagkaroon ng electric guitar, which is yun si Tense, parang
Ah,
gano'n.
uh-huh.
Parang out of play
Uh-huh.
yung ginagawa nila, parang kabaliwan, for example
I
talaga
see.
literal.
Uh-huh.
Like, brain dead gameplays that actually work.
That
High risk,
actually
high
work.
reward gameplays, gano'n.
Uh,
Yun yung ginagawa nila. That's why they are so strong. But at the same time, that high risk, high reward situations that
uh-huh.
they do is also what I've said earlier is also backed up with discipline and at the same time, ano, parang support to each teammate. Yun na nga yung sinasabi ko kanina. Yun yung nagpapalakas sa kanila. High risk, high
Mm-hmm.
reward yung ginagawa nila. which
Mhm.
is mababaliw ka talaga, eh. Sabihin natin ano, parang Asian gameplay,
Mhm.
gano'n. Gano'n yung meron silang gano'n.
Right.
Yun yung maganda sa kanila. As for Fnatic is more on systematic.
Yes, that's
Mahir
true.
m mahirap kasi like if you're gonna play by the book and you
Mhm.
don't have any situational call-outs. I doubt that Fnatic doesn't have any situational call-outs. They have, but,
Mm.
um, yung situational nilang nangyayari is mostly favored Sentinels nung time na yun.
Mhm.
Gano'n yung paggamit ng utilities ng parang sabihin natin pumasok sila, pero yung sakto lahat ng utilities, eh, may time, eh. Like 'pag recon, 'pag dash ni Jet, 'pag flash niya, alam mo yun?
Uh-huh.
Yung mangyayari sa'yo kahit anong situation 'pag pumasok ka ng site, computed na ng Sentinels and at the same time si TenZ papasok lang at papatayin niya lahat ng tao
Right.
sa loob, 'di
Uh-huh.
ba? Yun lang yung ginagawa
And
niya.
he's just super consistent at it as well. I remember I know before they actually signed him, back when Sinatra was I know still the parang naging I know star player sa Sentinels, I felt like honestly at that time it didn't really feel like Sinatra was like their absolute best player. It honestly felt like it was Sick.
Sick,
Yeah,
oo,
and Sick is like he can be crazy, he can be like crazy consistent at times and he can just absolutely pop off. Pero pag ano when Tens joined them, I thought Tens would also somewhat take a little bit of a backseat and make way for all the rest of the team. Pero wala, he just absolutely destroyed anyone.
Kung ikaw ba, Cinnamon,
Yeah.
kung papiliin ka ng ako naman
Yeah,
magke-question, sorry.
no,
Kung
of course. Uh-huh.
papiliin ka ng player for you, sino
Uh-huh.
yung pinakagusto mo?
Like the one that I know, to me, honestly, probably Sick. Only
Sick?
because yeah, it has to be Sick. Only because I can't follow people like Tens or Wardell, for example, only because I'm not the kind of guy that would entry frag. I'm horrible at using an operator. I'm more of a rifler. So si Sick talaga yung ano, I tend to I think out of all the I know pros that stream consistently on Twitch, the ones that I watch the most are Sick, sometimes Shazam whenever I see him running Sova.
Mm.
Hiko is a pleasure to watch as well, except that he always streams in the morning, and up until recently I never was a morning person, so talagang di ko talaga nahuhuli yung mga stream ni Hiko. And Sinatra
Hmm.
too, actually. Sinatra is uh he's one of those players that I feel like he kind of breaks the mold as far as movement is concerned. A lot of people
Hmm.
coming from like CS experience they're not really used to the way he moves around. He's so
Hmm.
erratic and he's so rapid with the way he moves around. It's just an absolute I know pleasure to watch. Ikaw, which streamer do you I know which like pro player do you tend to watch?
Ang pinakauna kong inidolo dito sa Valorant, kilala mo si Player One
Yeah, uh-huh. Yes,
ng Gen G?
uh-huh. Yep.
Nasa ano na siya ngayon, eh, nasa Vision
He just
something.
put out a cipher guide on how to play Ascent. I think a
Yan.
day ago. Uh-huh.
Si Yanagi nun dati,
Mhm.
Sentinel siya. Sabi
Okay.
ko sa kanya,
Mhm.
"Panoorin mo 'tong taong 'to, si Player One."
Mhm.
Dun siya lumakas mag-Sentinel naging player at ako rin. Dun din ako lumakas kay Player One as Sentinel. Si Player One talaga yung pinaka-idol ko na mag-hold ng site.
Uh-huh.
Like, papasok ka ng site kaya niyang ubusin kahit ilan kayo pumasok. Yung
Really?
anchor,
Uh-huh.
yung word na
Like
anchor, sa kanya talaga ng ano yun.
ah, got you. What does he do differently compared to other popular Sentinel players like Dapper, for example?
Ang ginagawa kasi ni Player One is mostly holding an angle and playing for his trips.
Mm.
Then, si Dapper, oo, gano'n din yung ginagawa niya. Pero mas una kong inidolo si ano, eh, Player
Ah,
One.
got
Siya
you.
siya yung pinakaunang nakilala kong gano'n mag-ano, eh, Cypher, eh.
I
And up
see.
until now, siya pa rin yung idol ko,
I see.
Player One.
What about Steel? Do you watch Steel of 100 Thieves?
100 Thieves, si
Uh-huh.
Hiko,
Oh,
ayan.
okay.
Pagdating sa kung sino yung favorite mo sa 100 Thieves, si Hiko. Pero
Uh-huh.
the one I really like about 100 Thieves is Asuna,
Asuna.
Asuna,
Uh-huh.
yeah. It's still Asuna though. Asuna is like the erratic player that you
Erratic.
could see on
Uh-huh.
100 Thieves, right?
Uh,
Asuna pa rin. Ang
yep.
lakas niya talaga.
High sense. Every time I see like VODs or clips of him or maybe his stream, as soon as you see him like start like twitching really hard when trying to aim, he's like, this guy is, I don't know. He's in the zone. He's in the zone. Feel na niya.
Siya, saan niya nauso yung crack, diba?
Right. Yeah,
Oh,
pretty much.
you're
He
cracked.
it's like he coined the term, so to speak. So, Gilsa, ano,
Asuna.
are there specific regions na you tend to watch more than others, or specific teams that you tend to watch more than others when it comes to trying to develop plays back then nung nag-coach ka pa?
Korea talaga eh.
Really?
Korea.
Interesting.
Kasi bago ka umangat dito sa Southeast Asia, kailangan mo at makalaban ng mga idol mo is kailangan mo munang umangat sa Indonesia,
Mhm.
Japan, 'yan. Tas may sariling
Uh-huh.
world ang Korea eh, hiwalay
Uh-huh.
sila eh.
Yeah.
Pero ang Korea kasi is sila yung gumagawa talaga ng out of meta play.
Okay.
And I really love doing out meta agents. Like for ex
Okay.
for example, like Viper.
Mhm.
Viper on the like when they realize that Viper isn't strong enough, yung
Uh-huh.
wala pa siyang like boost na pag dumaan ka sa wall, 50
50
agad,
agad.
minus
Yeah.
50.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I think Viper is a diamond in the rough agent dati.
Okay. Even before the buffs?
Yes, before
Okay.
the buffs.
Uh-huh.
Because I saw we played at Japan
You
and
play
they're
Japan.
using Viper
Okay.
on scrimmages, and that Viper is so good. He's
Uh-huh.
like a sentinel in a site.
Right.
Um the difference of Viper is you don't have anyone watching your flank
Right.
when you're an attacker.
Uh-huh.
But when it starts off, if you're good at Viper and you're at attacker, you can fake out sites.
True.
You can do all. You have two smokers. You have,
Right.
for example, Omen and Viper
Mm-hmm.
at the same time. You can fake out two sites, or
Right.
you can like push on all site and you can only use one smoke
Right.
and one wall
Uh-huh.
like that, right? So even though dati pa si Viper talaga yung pinaka-paborito kong agent
Mm.
ever since dati pa. Kasi sa CSGO, bago, ang ano kasi sa'tin dito sa Valorant is yung mga bago lang sa Valorant, to be honest, tinatamad mag-line up.
Mm-hmm.
Sa CSGO no'n, 'pag mag-aano ka, magpa-practice ka, lahat ng ibabato mong utilities may lineup.
Right.
And Viper is like the one that you need practice with so that you can play her in the
Properly.
game.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Hindi ka puwedeng bato lang ng bato
Bato
eh.
lang ng bato. Yeah, exactly. Yung mga mollies niya, in order to fully parang maximize her output, talagang you need to know the proper lineups for her and whatnot.
And at the same time, sobrang OP kasi nung ulti niya eh, yung
Yeah.
ultimate niya,
Uh-huh.
'di ba?
Uh-huh.
Like, how can you the best example of Viper is when you're playing her on Icebox.
Mm-hmm.
And Viper is good on all maps basically.
True. Mm-hmm.
It's all the same. Even if you like hold site,
Uh-huh.
same as Icebox, it's the same as using Viper on bind, ascent, split, ganito, ganyan, 'di ba? Parang lahat naman compatible si Viper. Depende lang talaga
Yeah.
sa paggamit mo.
How you use her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think so far as the last time I checked regional stats, agent usage per map, it seems like Icebox and Breeze have been seeing like sub 100% Viper usage. They're pretty much they're maps where you can actually just run with Viper as like your sole smoker and you'll be fine. Although there are some teams that do play, for example, in Icebox, there were teams that did play like a Viper and an Omen on
Omen.
Icebox. Yeah, pero I've seen so many teams na talagang Viper lang as the smoker on Icebox and yun lang, and even on Breeze.
Si Zombs nga, 'di ba?
Yeah, exactly.
Si Zombs.
I was honestly incredibly the patch right after after Masters came out, I was extremely worried about how hard they were gonna nerf agents like Astra and Viper, because once again, you know, especially Viper, she's been around since day one, and the fact that she was meta for that tournament, I was kind of scared now. Oh, knowing Riot, I felt like they were gonna, like, you know, bite the bullet super quickly and nerf her too hard, but instead we got everybody essentially got nerfed
Oo.
to some extent, which was surprising.
Mas lumakas siya, 'di ba?
Yeah,
Yun nga yung maganda eh. Marami
exactly.
nang gumamit.
Yep.
Tsaka may combo dun eh. May combo dun na natutunan ko.
Uh-huh.
Maganda magsama si Viper. Basta may kasama si Viper na initiator.
Mm-hmm.
Panalo kayo. Sa
Really?
isang map control. Sabihin
Ah.
natin sa bind bilong.
Uh-huh.
I-wall ni Viper yung bilong at magre-recon si Sova sa taas ng billboard.
Mm-hmm.
Tapos babarilin nyo sa other side ng wall. Without them knowing you on the other side.
That I got you. Oh nga, no. Yeah, those are
Diba?
some combo plays you could do. I wanna roll back to we're gonna continue talking about the meta in a second, because I still have so much stuff that I have to ask about that. But I want to roll back to the whole Korea as the region you like to watch, because I honestly wasn't expecting that. That's pretty surprising to me. So which team in your opinion, from watching like the previous Korean matches, Korea is like dominating or was like dominating for some time?
Everybody knows Vision Strikers.
You're right. Yeah, Vision Strikers. What do you think happened to them? They weren't able to make it to Masters Reykjavik.
Hindi ko nga alam eh. Wala rin ako idea eh. Siguro may nagpahinga sa kanila isang player.
Oh, I see.
Or it's either kulang lang din sa practices. Ganon. Hindi nga sila masyado naging Parang, alala mo dati yung Vision Strikers, like sobrang lakas, di ba?
Yeah.
Ilang win streak
they
yun,
had
di ba?
a crazy win streak.
And also, the good thing about Vision Strikers are NA are copying Vision Strikers. As you know. You know Sean Garris,
Garris,
diba?
yeah.
Yeah. In-explain niya yung play ng Vision Strikers. Alala mo yun?
No, actually, I don't think I've seen this.
Meron siyang VOD review about Vision Strikers on how good their game sense is. Ganon.
Okay.
Sa Icebox, in-explain niya yun. Doon natutunan yung one way ni Omen sa bilong, ganon. Ang dami mong matututunan sa Korea. Tapos ang kaano pa nila, kasi hindi ko alam kung naka-scrim namin yun or new turn. Walang utilities na matatapon ng walang sense.
Everything is used with, you know, on a set plan, essentially.
Sabihin natin, si Sova nag-recon sa weird spot. Ba't may recon dito? Magtataka ka, diba? Tapos may kasunod na maraming babagsak sa'yo, breach flash and everything. And basically after like 5 seconds, you're dead.
So talagang it's really planado talaga.
Planado talaga.
It's surprising kasi dati, you know, Korea has always been known to be the hub for like esports, diba? Like, you know, way back, if you roll back all the way back to parang, you know, the old StarCraft days, and now obviously League of Legends. Pero I feel like Korea was never known for their prowess in mga tactical FPS, diba? Or nung dati pa, were you aware, were there any like decent Korean CSGO teams dati? Because I never really got into CS, unfortunately.
Halos lahat ng players ng Korea is malakas sa Overwatch, diba?
Oh yeah, that's true.
And Overwatch is more like not on aim but tactics gameplay. So doon sila malakas gumawa ng meta nila.
That makes sense.
More on sa utak sila, hindi sa tutok.
Right. That absolutely. Yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot how Korea is basically the hub of Overwatch as well.
Diba?
I completely forgot. Yung sa Overwatch League, do you follow the Overwatch League?
Overwatch League hindi, pero may idea ako na Korea is number 1 sa Overwatch.
Yeah, well, they're basically
before
all
na pumasok si Sinatra.
They're all scattered apart. You could basically find a Korean on almost every single team, and there are some teams na parang puro mga Korean na lang.
Korea.
Yeah, I see. Got you. Man, so were you do you aside from like CS and Valorant, What other esports do you actually follow or are you familiar with?
Wala eh, CS at
CS
Valorant
tsaka
lang
CS
talaga.
tsaka Valorant lang talaga
Mm.
yung parang ano mo.
Mm.
Okay. Oh, I think your camera might have glitched for a sec there. Wait, let me see if I can. Wait. Oh, Coach Hama, do you hear me?
Yes.
Oh yeah, for some reason your camera. Can you try restarting your camera real
Wait, off
quick?
pa.
Yeah, sige, sige. Try to. There we go. I think it just needed like a quick reset. So one thing that I wanted to bring up, and I don't know if you've noticed this pattern yet. So I follow I used to follow Dota religiously, and I also used to follow League religiously as well. Now I probably follow League more than Dota. One thing that Riot is kind of known for when it comes to balancing, in my opinion, is that they tend to be a little harsh when it comes to nerfs. In a way na whenever, let's say for example, there's a specific champion na parang is absolutely rocking everybody in this current patch, yung logic nila is instead of making the unused characters better, yung ginagawa nila is they immediately hit that one champion or yung mga champions na malalakas. And sometimes what ends up happening is you have all these champions na are at a low level of power kesa sa naman yung inaangat nila yung nasa baba para maging high level power din sila. Are you seeing a pattern in Riot's like balancing, or are you happy with the way they're handling balancing, or do you think things can be a little bit better in that aspect?
Kung kukumpara mo kasi siya sa League of Legends, like yung
Mhm.
Valorant, it's different din kasi parang gusto ko rin yung pag-balance nila like sa economy, yung
Okay.
pagbili ng utilities,
Yeah.
gano'n.
Mhm.
As of now, because I didn't like play League of Legends, I just played Valorant. Excuse me.
Sure, you're fine.
I just played Valorant like at start of Act 1
Okay.
and hindi talaga ako nagfo-follow sa League of Legends. So, sa tingin ko yung ginagawa ng Riot ngayon sa Valorant is good. Good naman
Mm.
para sa'kin.
Got you. Okay.
Actually nga yung ano eh, may video ako, nagkaroon din akong podcast na ganito.
Okay.
Tapos ang nangyari is ano yung gusto kong agent na susunod, sabi sa'kin gano'n.
Uh-huh.
Hindi pa lumalabas si KO nun.
Okay.
Tapos sabi ko, ang gusto kong agent is yung nakakapag-silence ng ano, ng specific agent, for example, traps nasisira or like
Uh-huh.
nasa-silence yun.
Yeah.
Tas nagulat ako na nilabas nila si KO.
The timing is insane.
Sabi ko, Riot, kung nakikinig kayo sa akin, ako na bahala sa next agent niyo.
That's actually amazing. Just on the topic of KO, since we're on that, and I also know you came out with a guide on how to play KO as well. What do you think has been his impact in the meta so far?
Mas madali makuha ang site.
Mm.
Mas madali, the impact of KO is like, it's more easier to take site, and also it's more easier to retake the site.
Yeah.
It's just that it's like Viper. You need to know the specific composition of agents that you will pick that combines the combos with KO. Bawal kang basta-basta magsama kay KO ng isang agent na hindi nyo alam kung ano yung gagawin. Same as other agents goes.
Right.
Ganon. Sabihin natin, si KO kasi, he has the power to refrag a teammate.
Right.
So, for me, KO is a refragger, which is under Reyna and Phoenix.
Under Reyna and
Same
Phoenix.
sila.
Okay. I was literally
Yes.
just about to ask you that. So he doesn't exactly take the spot of like Sky or like a Sova. Essentially,
No.
he takes the spot of like another duelist essentially.
Yes, tama yun. Kasi, si KO, pag may ulti, kaya niya mag-entry like Phoenix.
Yeah.
And also, kaya niya mag-pop flash like Phoenix. Ang kinaganda lang kay KO is, he has the ability to gather info and at the same time, nerf or like debuff the specific agents, which is basically inside the site. Sabihin natin defender ka.
Yeah.
sa defender mo, ang daming nilagay na kaloko. Naglagay siya ng molly,
Yeah.
naglagay siya ng kung ano-ano,
Uh-huh.
or like sabihin natin, eto yung idea ko kay KO, 'pag ako napasok man sa pro scene ulit,
Uh-huh.
ide-debuff ko yung mga taong nagla-line up.
Mhm.
Sabihin natin bind, si Brim lagi nagla-line up, si Sova lagi nagla-line up. Saan nagtatago yun? Sa market at A-short.
Mhm.
Ibabato ko yung knife at sa market at A-short, papasmo ko yung A-short, i-defuse ko. Bahala
Mm.
kayo mag-line up, 7 seconds yan, bahala kayo, i-defuse ko na yun. Gano'n,
Right.
yun yung parang idea ko kay KO. Yun yung
Uh,
kinaganda niya sa defender.
of course.
Yung
Do you think so? When KO was first revealed, when they first revealed his abilities and whatnot, essentially a lot of people have deemed him to kind of like be the quote unquote the end of the postplant meta. Has he do you think he's actually been able to fulfill his his prophesized destiny, so to speak? Has he put a stop to all these postplant meta lineups and whatnot, or
For me, wala pang nakaka-utilize ng maayos kay KO.
okay.
The only thing that you need is just practice with him on the board.
Right.
Kasi parang mahirap gamitin si KO,
Yeah.
to be honest. Kasi yung
Uh-huh.
flash nun parang CSGO.
Uh-huh.
Ibabato mo sa malayo ta's titingin ka sa mataas, gano'n,
Uh-huh.
mag-support flash si KO.
Mm.
And also, yung sa knives niya, basta dapat lahat kasi kay KO, lahat ng time is in sync with all of you 5.
Exactly. Uh-huh.
'Pag 'pag hindi kayo sync, sayang lang lahat ng binatong utilities ni
Exactly.
KO,
Uh-huh. Yung
parang gano'n.
parang nakuha mong info and the silence itself, pag hindi mo na
Hmm,
utilize within that time frame, wala ring kwenta.
sabihin
Mm.
natin, sa bind malakas si KO.
Mhm.
Puwede niya ibato yung knives niya sa bathroom, kuha mo na yung bathroom control, disabled yung bathroom.
Mhm.
Puwede mo i-molly dulo. Si KO magsa-stack lang ng orb every round. Kuha lang siya ng kuha ng orb. Once na
Mhm.
nakakuha na siya ng orb, like marami na, may ulti na, puwede niya na entry-han ng B-side nang walang
Mm.
kaproble-problema, 'di ba?
That's kind of like how you would play a Phoenix, right?
'Di ba?
Yeah,
Gano'n.
that's kind of how you would play a Phoenix. I know that like whenever people play Phoenix on Haven, they always like a lot of teams try to rush orbs as much as they can, whether it's on A long or C long on defender or kind of. Oh, okay, so he kind of fills the gap na parang Phoenix used to occupy. But it
Mm.
seems like his utility in a way, especially since in a game like Valorant where info is like key or is king, right? He kind of shines a little bit more than Phoenix. So you think he's gonna see more gameplay, or is he seeing more gameplay than Phoenix?
Sa Southeast Asia, inaantay ko na lang na lumitaw
Mm.
na. May gumamit na, eh.
Oh.
Nalimutan ko na sino gumamit, eh, na-explain yun, eh. Pero may gumamit na ng KO sa Southeast Asia, sa VCT.
Okay.
Hindi ko napanood, pero may gumamit na ng KO. Para kasi siyang ano, eh, ang dami kasing kunwari bagong agent, ang daming nahihirapan gamitin kasi 'di pa na-a-apply sa meta.
Right.
So, 'pag may nag-apply sa meta, gagayahin lang.
Exactly. That's true.
Ang ang maganda kasi sa teams natin is gumawa tayo ng sarili nating meta
Mm.
para other countries will also like be afraid of us that we're using this kind of meta, how to counter this meta, and
Mm-hmm.
also at the same time we have guns up on our asses that we can use for them para
Uh-huh.
matalo natin sila, 'di ba?
Exactly.
Gano'n. Kasi kami, nakita ko yung bagong play ng KDM na nagkaroon sila ng Yoru sa split.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Really? Uh-huh.
Nagkaroon sila ng Yoru sa split, and ang kinaganda kasi kay Yoru, 'pag may ulti si Yoru kaya niyang pumasok ng site na hindi siya namamatay. Ang
Mm.
kailangan lang ni Yoru is ang kinaganda ni Yoru nun, nung may Yoru sila, may Sky sila,
Mm.
nakita ko yun. So, ang sabi ko lang sa kanila is, 'pag pumasok si Yoru ta's pumasok si MJ ng Ray Satchel, 'pag nahanap ni Yoru yung kalaban, tambaan niyo lang ng flash, kahit tinitignan ni Yoru yun, mapapatay ni Yoru. Sabihin natin pumasok si Yoru, tumakbo si Yoru, 'di ba?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Tapos pagtakbo ni Yoru, binatuhan ni Sky ng flash, pam, 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 sunod-sunod.
Uh-huh.
Makikita ni Yoru kung bulag eh, hindi eh,
Yeah, that's
'di ba?
true. Uh-huh.
So, ang mangyayari is papatayin lang ni Yoru kung sino yung bulag sa harap niya,
That's super smart.
'di
On
ba?
the on the topic of Yoru, by the way, because ever since his release, Yoru has unfortunately been occupying like pretty much the lower end of agent pick usage, and regardless of like, you know, like he did get like some nerfs prior to this patch. He still hasn't really seen any significant, I know, increases as far as pick rate is concerned. Look, in your opinion, what do you think is the problem with Yoru? Why do you think he's not really picked that much, and what do you think can be done to kind of make him viable, I know, in the competitive scene?
Ano lang talaga, yung kakulangan lang natin is hindi tayo yung ano, hindi yung agent nagkukulang sa atin eh, is yung
Mm.
usage natin dun sa agent eh, kung paano
Mm.
natin siya gagamitin.
Uh-huh.
So, sa competitive scene kasi, iba eto guys, sa mga nanonood diyan, 'pag si Yoru pinik niyo sa pugs, hindi siya viable. Dun nagiging yung mentality natin or idea natin pumapasok na hindi viable si Yoru sa competitive or
Mm.
like sa top league or high
Yeah.
level.
Uh-huh.
But you saw Tens using Yoru.
Yeah, he
You
did
saw
play Yoru. Uh-huh.
you saw other people playing Yoru. It's just that you need to make sure that when you're picking like an out of meta, yun nga, out of meta agent, kailangan
Mm.
may kasamang combo na magba-backup sa lahat ng skills na ginagamit niya.
Mm.
Gano'n naman lahat eh, gano'n naman lahat eh. Sabihin natin, si Brim tsaka Sova compatible, sabay.
Right. Uh-huh.
Ini-smoke ni Brim yung bathroom, long bathroom.
Uh-huh.
Galing siyang defender, pumasok siya, nagpa-recon siya kay Sova sa dulo. Ano mangyayari? Pwede niya mapatay.
Exactly, kahit nasa smoke siya. Uh-huh.
Yes. Si Yoru naman, ang kailangan lang ni hello?
Oh, there you
Maayos
go.
na flasher.
There you go.
Yeah, maayos na flasher lang ang kailangan ni Yoru for them to take site.
Mm.
Yoru can get you information that the the enemies can see. You can
Mm.
see Yoru like facing you and like just hopping
Just
in and out
yeah.
on site, right?
Uh-huh.
The good thing about this is if you have Yoru, you can accompany him with Breach.
There you go. Uh-huh.
Let's say for example, you have Breach and Yoru.
Mm-hmm.
So you saw one cubby, Yoru is at like backside of B site, the
Mm-hmm.
tube, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nakakita siya na isang tao sa cubby, papastan mo lang ay Breach yun, papatay ni Yoru yun.
Mm-hmm.
Sunod, may info na si Yoru na nasa elbow kalaban, kuha na yung site.
Exactly. Control na.
'Di ba? Control na. So,
Uh-huh.
kailangan mo lang talaga ng agent na magba-backup dun sa agent mo. Lahat naman
Gotcha.
ganun eh. Ang hindi
Mm.
lang naman kailangan ng backup is Sentinel eh.
Right.
Kasi si Sentinel kaya niya mag-hold ng site eh. Wala naman
Uh-huh.
siyang kailangan niya lang recon ni Sova,
Uh-huh.
support flash, ganun. Pero si Yoru talaga, like duelists per se, they need specific agents that can back them up. Like for example, Jet. Sabihin natin si Jet may breach. Alam mo na.
Exactly. Uh-huh.
Si Yoru may breach, alam mo na.
Mm-hmm.
O, 'di ba? Si Jet may Reyna, alam mo na. Parang ganun lang din 'yun eh. Same
I
ideologies
see.
applies on all agents. Ganun.
Got you. Another agent na has been in like hot water in the current patch, and I feel like the opinion on her has been widely varied across many people. See Astra, right?
Oo.
Astra has seen some incredible usage in Masters, I know Masters Reykjavik, but obviously with the new patch, she did see some rather significant nerfs. How viable do you think she is? Because I know that there are a lot of pros that have dropped her, not completely, but don't really play her as much, like Zoms, for example,
Mm.
who used to play Astra on Split, but he switched back to the Omen. What's your opinion on the current state of Astra? Do you think she got nerfed too hard, or do you think she's still like really viable?
Viable pa rin si Astra para sa akin. It's just that you need to know the timing.
Mm.
You you saw players or like in pugs, sometimes pugs strats are working on competitive tournaments. You saw Astra do something like this. Same pa rin yung nerf sa kanya parang 'di ba yung time lang?
Time lang, yeah. So
Yes.
the cooldowns on her abilities are longer. When you paglapag mo ng stars, there's like a 1 point something parang
Mm.
charge up time bago mo magamit, and then also when you pull the orb, it takes a little bit longer before you can reuse it.
Same lang din naman eh. Kailangan mo lang bigyan ng timing yung specific utilities na gagamitin mo. Astra has been like the one who clears angles for you.
Mm.
previously, and also the one who is anchoring a specific site. Let's say, for
Mhm.
example, on Ascent, you're playing like a site.
Mhm.
Astra can hold a site, even though kaya niya i-hold yung A site even though she is not a Sentinel, right?
Right.
So,
Mhm.
viable para sa akin, viable pa rin siya. Kailangan mo lang malaman yung timing ng usage. Yun lang yun. Ang pangit lang ni Astra ngayon is hindi ka na pwede mag-dual setup. Kasi
Yeah.
matagal mo na nga kunin yung orb, 'di ba?
Exactly.
Pero
Exactly.
yung divide ni Astra, OP pa rin yun kahit ano mangyari.
Exactly. The amount of space that thing can cover is still absolutely
Mm.
ridiculous.
Viable pa rin siya. As in para
Mm.
sa akin, viable pa rin siya.
Got you.
Viable pa rin.
What maps in your opinion do you think na Astra is still like a must play, or at least parang you won't feel bad picking her on right now? Anong mga mapa?
Ascent.
Ascent? Okay.
Ascent, pwede. Ascent. Bind.
Mm.
Good pa rin siya. Yung mga choke points, maliliit.
Mm.
Ayun. Pero yung kay Zombs, like he switched up from Astra to Omen.
Mm.
I think it's still the same if you
Mm.
use Astra. It's just that I think that Zombs that's why he didn't pick Astra
Mm.
is that hindi niya na siguro matimingan yung request ng teammates niya.
Got you.
Unlike kay Omen na pwede niyang mabilisan ma-respondehan agad yung teammates niya. Yun lang
Exactly.
yan.
He can immediately gamit ng smokes niya at any time. It's a lot quicker kumpara ni Okay, that absolutely makes sense. I want to shift the conversation towards more of like the PH scene now, and I was a little initially I was kind of on the fence whether I should ask you about this or not, but since now I know you're currently taking a break from coaching, I feel like I should throw this out specifically on Bren Esports. All right, it's kind of I feel like it's undeniable right now na in the PH scene, talagang they're at the top right now. They're absolutely owning. What do you think what is with it? What's in the magic sauce in Brent Esports na parang it almost feels na they're super hard to topple at the moment sa PH scene?
Ano lang siguro talaga, it all matters up to practice.
Mm.
Bren is like practicing like teams that yung like high level teams talaga.
Oh, okay.
Yung ano ng yung sa sponsor nila yun sa Bren, like yung practices nila nandun. And at the same time, yung experience din ng kada players nila.
Okay.
Yun ang kasi sa Bren is nakikita mo kung makambak sila ng 10-2. Mga ganun,
There
'di
are
ba?
there are times where it's like, yo, what the heck is going on? And then you blink an eye and all of a sudden they're ahead. Uh-huh.
Ano kasi, mostly of the players of Bren are mentally like adjusted to pro scenes. Like
Mm.
pressure, nandiyan 'yan.
Mm-hmm.
Sila kaya nila i-handle 'yun eh.
Got you.
Yun yung difference ng ang kinaganda sa Bren is ang nasa isip ako para sa akin, sa tingin ko sa kanila, nasa isip lagi nila is kami mas malakas sa'yo. Yun yung pinakamagandang
Mm.
mentality.
Confidence.
Yes, yun yung difference nila.
I
Na parang,
see.
miski tambaan nyo kami, alam namin mas malakas kami sa'yo.
Got you.
Yun.
I see.
Yun yung ibang wala tayong PH teams. Kasi minsan yung PH teams natin, parang makakita lang ng malakas na team is ay, malakas yan.
Mm.
Di ba dapat hindi ganun?
Mm-hmm.
Dapat, kaya natin mas malakas tayo dito eh.
Yeah,
Ganon.
exactly.
But when you hear the word or the team Bren,
yeah,
ay malalakas yan.
yeah.
Ano kayang gagawin yan? Ang dami mong expectations, ang dami mong iniisip na matatalo lang kayo in the end kasi masyado kayo maraming iniisip.
Mm.
Gawin nyo lang yung laro nyo. Tapos ang kinaganda kasi sa Bren, they're not playing your game. You're playing their game.
Their game. Okay.
Yun yung kinaganda sa Bren. Parang, sa tingin mo nananalo kayo, nilalaro mo. Pero in the end, nag-a-analyze sila. Anong mali, ganito, ganyan. Yun din kasing kailangan natin sa team eh. Like, timeout. Agad-agad. Sabihin natin first, 3 rounds panalo tayo, natalo tayo ng 4th round. Bakit? Ano nangyari? Timeout agad. Pag-usapan na anong mali, resolbahan agad. Kasi ganito, ganyan. Kasi ganito, ganyan. Then, switch up your agents. Try to do situational calls. Ganun. Doon malakas ang Bren. Situational. As in, sobrang lakas. Napakatalino ng mga tao.
Yeah, I can tell. So once again, just to kind of sum it up, so it's like mostly number one, just the general experience that they have and the mindset that they have, and also it seems like they're able to kind of maximize the most sa mga practice nila, sa mga practices nila and whatnot. Is there what team in your opinion in the current like lineup of VCT, both qualified and the ones that didn't qualify, what team at least do you think in your opinion has like the most parang potential to maybe catch up or topple Brand? Who can dethrone the king sa PH scene in your opinion?
For me, actually, lahat naman ng teams eh.
Mm.
Kasi dito sa Pilipinas, like pagdating dito sa pro scene,
Mm-hmm.
may mentality na pressure, ganyan, top 1 ang Bren. Pero,
Mm-hmm.
lahat ng teams dito sa Philippines, ang gusto nila, matalo ang Bren. So, yun yung pampagaya, matalo ang Bren, matalo ang Bren. Matatalo natin yan. Like, SV Empire, KDM, di ba? Close match kami, Bren, di ba? SV Empire, close match din sa Bren.
Right.
Malakas yung Bren, pero feel ko lahat ng teams kaya talunin ng Bren.
There you go.
It's just, kailangan lang talaga nila ng bigger experience. Also, practice and practice and practice and practice. Bren is always practicing. They're not trying to like let you parang masundan or mahabol sila. Hindi. Magagrind at magagrind at magagrind sila kahit anong gawin.
They're never
Kayo
complacent.
nag-day off. Kayo nag-day off, sila nagagrind pa rin. Sino ba yung nagsabi nun? May nagsabi nun eh. Sa Dota 2 ata yun. Na para ikaw nagagrind ka pero may darating na team na mas grabe mag-grind kaysa sa'yo, matatalo kayo. May nagsabi nun.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so that's a great perspective to have. Pero kind of still going with the the whole PH scene. Obviously, Valorant has seen some a very very significant parang explosion in popularity sa Pinas, diba? Like so I think out of like all the online games that came out recently, talagang Valorant has became really really popular. What do you think is the future of the esports scene in the Philippines? Do you foresee Valorant becoming like a mainstay to maybe to the level of like what Mobile Legends is in the country, or do you see this something that's only going to last up until Riot is going to allow all these regions to have all these tournaments? What do you think is going to happen?
Sa tingin ko, aangat to sa PH scene eh. Kasi ang difference ng Valorant sa CSGO, Valve or CSGO, ang Valve hindi sila nagkaaroon ng major tournament. Ang major lang nila is mga IEM Katowice, mga ganito ganyan, pero hindi yun sponsored ng Valve.
Yeah.
Ang kinaganda kay Riot is sponsoring the community and also helping the community to grow worldwide.
Right.
Or like for example, Philippines, ganyan. Ang daming malalakas na players sa Philippines. Kaso ang ganda dito sa Valorant is nakikilala yung mga PH players.
Yeah.
Makapasok ka ng VCT, kasali ka na sa Wikipedia.
Oh, yeah, that's actually true. You get your own article.
Sa CSGO nun, walang ganon. Ang kinaganda kasi pag sa CSGO, bago ako mapasok sa Wikipedia, kailangan mo mag-top team sa C.
Okay.
Dito, hindi. Big opportunity na malagay ang stats mo sa Wikipedia. You can be scouted by international teams. For example, for me, there are teams that scouting me from international countries. May mga nag-scout sa akin, may mga nag-email sa akin like from Jakarta, from anong isa? Nalimutan ko na eh. Hindi sa India. Basta may isa pa. Tapos may isa pang team sa Singapore. Ang dami nagsa-scout sa akin as coach. Pero di ko kasi tinatanggap eh. Gusto ko mag-stream na lang. Para dahil lang doon sa paglalaro at sa pagko-coach ko, parang nakilala ako, 'di ba? And I can be scouted. Hindi mo alam, malay mo the next year scouted na ako sa ibang bansa or player na ako sa ibang bansa. Hindi natin alam. Malay yung ibang players ng Bren, malay mo mag-Sentinels, di mo alam, 'di ba? Kasi ang daming opportunity sa Valorant na
That is true.
hindi nabigay ng ibang games, ganun.
I
Hmm.
see. Sa akin kasi, the thing I'm worried about is kasi League of Legends right now is franchised, 'di ba? Yung structure ng esports nila is they do a franchise um per regional basis. And the thing about regional team the thing about having a franchise system is that medyo namamatay yung tier 2 scene kasi syempre the only teams that play in the franchise league are the teams that buy their spots. And then
Mhm.
also what happens with Riot, obviously with League of Legends, is there aren't any tournaments hosted, or at least big League of Legends tournaments that are hosted outside sa scope ng Riot. Dati, before this whole Worlds and LCS, LCK structure became a thing, we still had like IEM League of Legends tournaments. There was still like ano pa nga yung mga nag-host ng mga IEM is the Intel Extreme Masters, blah 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 blah. Pero I'm worried na Valorant would go the same route, and that would leave other regions kind of left behind, or baka wala na silang magiging mga big na mga tournaments. Pero I don't know. I feel like Valorant has seen some really really big, especially in Japan. But Japan has been they picked up Valorant pretty well, and that's also another region na parang the tactical FPSs don't really see that much traction. So, do you think it's going to be in the level of Mobile Legends in the Philippines, in your opinion? Do you think it's ever going to get to that point na the tournaments are going to be that consistent, or maybe to a smaller scale? Sa Pinas at
For
least.
me,
Uh-huh.
sa tingin ko, oo.
Oh.
Magiging like big thing, next big thing 'to. Bakit? Dito sa Pilipinas maraming taong may hilig bumaril.
Uh-huh.
Wala akong maano dun, pero SF2, SF1,
Oh yeah,
CF,
you're right. Crossfire.
'di ba? So,
Ah.
ever since lumabas si Valorant, ang dami kong nakilalang tao. Nagkaroon pa nga dati ng issue nun, parang sino mas malakas? CSGO, SF, Apex, Overwatch, alam mo yon?
Oo,
Lahat
oo.
ng FPS games.
Parang
Tsaka
uh-huh.
tsaka ang kinaganda dito sa Valorant, lahat ng mga FPS players na pro team sa iba't ibang FPS categories, let's say, Apex.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Sa Samurais ata nun, hindi ko alam kung Apex yon or like, tawag nito, Apex or Overwatch
Mhm.
na team, composed silang gano'n.
Mm.
Bren is composed of CSGO,
Uh-huh.
Overwatch, 'di ba?
Uh-huh.
Yun 'no. Tapos ang kinaganda dito is yun na nga yung sinabi ko, lahat ng tao gusto bumaril, and at the same time yung community natin dito sa Pilipinas is sobrang supportive dito sa Valorant.
That is true.
Like top streamers, top like vloggers, for example,
Mhm.
like Kong and Doggy, 'di
Yeah.
ba? Gusto ko lang is magtuloy-tuloy lang yung support nila dito sa larong 'to. Tsaka feel
Yeah.
ko hindi malalaos kung barilan,
Mhm.
and feel ko matagal-tagal pa, eh.
That's true.
Matagal-tagal pa. Oo,
Mhm.
yun lang.
That's no.
CS:GO nga 'di ba? Tagal 'di
Yeah,
ba?
even CS has lived for hella long despite all of Valve's all of Valve's lack of attention and whatnot. But yeah, I agree. That actually makes complete sense. I never thought of it from parang that perspective. And when you think about it too, kasi Valorant has managed to appeal to the casual scene really really well. Yung minention mo na there are all these big personalities, all these big streamers, that have been streaming or that have like got into Valorant, even if it's supposed to be a competitive game. For them, they still enjoy playing the game, even if it's from a casual standpoint. So yeah, I fingers crossed. I also hope that it'd be amazing if Valorant becomes an absolute mainstay in the Philippines because it's a fun game, and Riot is also a really really good company. But
Yun nga,
anyways,
eh, support din, eh.
yeah,
Grabe
that
din
is true.
mag-support si Riot, eh, 'di ba?
Riot is freaking insane. There's a reason why I absolutely love League of Legends, and when they announced Valorant, I had no hesitations to get into Valorant because I know what Riot is capable of. I'm a huge Riot fan, so
Riot
to
fan.
speak.
And
Yeah.
also,
Uh-huh.
kaming mga CS, Apex, PUBG,
Mhm.
SF2, ano pa ba? Ano pa bang FPS? CSGO.
Yeah.
Dito lang kami naka-experience ng malalaking prize pool.
Mm.
Dito lang sa Valorant.
That's a big thing too.
And also, ang kinaganda nun is, gaganahan ka mag-practice, gaganahan ka mag-grind kasi
Uh-huh.
alam mo may pera.
It's feasible.
Most pro players, they love the game obviously, but
Of course.
they also love the money, right?
Mm-hmm.
What being practical, alam mo 'yon.
Mm-hmm.
So, ang kinaganda nun, nilalaro mo na yung gustong laro mo, and
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, yung prizes dito hindi pichi-pichi.
Yeah.
CS:GO nun dati, highest prize pool is like 'pag nakapasok ang majors or pag sabihin natin nakapasok ka sa C, taas ka na, yeah,
Yeah.
malaki na prize pool niyan. Pero
Mm-hmm.
CS:GO nun dati is just LAN tournaments, cafe, 5,000,
Mm-hmm.
2,000, 1,000, you know. Dito lang ako nakakita like they're giving away 50,000 pesos, 15,000 pesos. You have mouse, keyboard, and a freaking monitor. You have everything that you need. Alam mo yun, parang parang ang daming opportunities dito sa Valorant. And also, ang kinaganda pa sa Valorant, yung support ni Riot is also enticing din sa mga streamers katulad natin,
Mm-hmm.
'di ba? Umaangat din tayo sa streaming career. Parang lahat naapektuhan eh.
That's
Alam mo
true.
'yun?
The whole
Yun
ecosystem.
yung
The whole ecosystem is parang maangat. Anyways, Coach Hama, I've had you for an hour. I think I've picked your brain as much, and I don't want to stress you out even further. I'd like to end the podcast in this is like parang a madali ang Coach Hama session. All right, we're gonna go through the ranks. You can clump. I'm gonna go through Valorant ranks. Okay. You can clump the ranks if you want to, but essentially I want you to give advice to every rank. What is your advice to them para mag-rank up sila? If they want to get out of iron, if they want to get out of bronze. Kung sa opinion mo, you have the same advice for like iron or bronze, you can give the same advice. If you want to do it individual, completely up to you. So I'll let you go ahead and take your start. So syempre,
Alright,
starting
guys.
up with iron. Mm-hmm.
Alright, guys. So, lagi nyo naman 'to naririnig sa stream ko.
Mm-hmm.
Sa mga nagtatanong din, iron, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, and immortal, and also radiant.
Mm-hmm.
Ganon. So, for iron to gold, the only advice that I could give you is just grind your aim.
Mm.
You don't need anything but just grind your aim. Yung game sense, plus na lang muna yun. But for iron to gold, grind your aim. Do death matches, okay? Kasi ganito yung nangyari sa ating mga Pilipino. Nagde-deathmatch tayo, nare-realize natin, parang nag-DM tayo, tapos sasabihin mo, di ba dapat malakas ako? Result ng DM ko, ganun. No. It's like, eto nga yung sinasabi ko, paulit-ulit kong sinasabi sa inyo. It's like you're saying that you've picked up a weight equipment and you've worked out for one day, and tomorrow you're gonna say, oh, I have like 6-pack abs and I have like a bicep already. It's not like that. Death matches is a habit that you need to improve to work on your craft. Okay? Yun yung pinakailangan nyo. So for iron to gold, you need to grind your DMs. It's okay if you can DM 5 minimum of 5, maximum of 6 per day, every day. Okay? Next, platinum to diamond. Next, what you need to grind on platinum to diamond is game sense. You don't develop game sense by just like doing DMs or anything like that, or like watching streams or watching like VODs. No, you gain game sense when you play the game. For example, off angles, that's game sense. Utility combination, that's game sense. So what they do to you, you must do to your enemies. Like for example, uy, okay yung ginawa nito sa akin, gayahin ko nga in the next game. That's game sense. Then you stack up your game sense, you get knowledge, you rank up. Then when you reach immortal, that's the time you just basically improve. Ano yun, parang balance na dapat lahat sa'yo. Game sense, aim mo, lahat. Then doon na ako, nung nag-immortal ako, doon na ako nag-improve ng game sense. Doon na ako natuto, doon na ako maraming nalaman, maraming natutunan. Tapos nag-radiant ako once, doon din marami ka. Immortal, high RR, is ano, labanan na ng talinuhan, gulangan, yan na yan, diskarte.
Mhm.
Pero Immortal Low RR is just the same as Diamond. You just need to
Mm.
grind your game sense all over again. Yun lang yun. Tapos, yun lang ma-advise ko. Kung gusto niyo bumuo ng team, Immortal na kayo, practice, practice, practice. Deathmatch practice, scrimmages practice, and the rest is history. Lahat na pwede mong gawin. VOD watching, study your enemies, game analytics, utility usage, refragging abilities, crossfire setups, yan ang kailangan mo para manalo ka sa tournament pagdating sa high level na, hindi na sa ranking system. So, yun lang. Ang
There.
masasabi ko pagdating.
Yo, that was amazing. Yo, Coach Hama. So once again, thank you for that. That was freaking amazing. I absolutely love that. We're gonna make sure that we highlight that eventually when I upload this. That's the highlight right there. But Coach Hama, once again, thank you so much for coming on the show. Any final shout outs? Please plug away.
Shoutout sa'yo, kapatid. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
having me.
Thank you for blessing me with your presence, man.
And also, shoutout sa Valorant community. Hello guys. Sana tuloy-tuloy niyo supportahan. And also to my family and my girlfriend. Thank you sa support.
There we
Thank
go.
you so much, guys.
And of course, Coach Hama, where can we find you? Your streams, your social media plugs?
You can see it, mga kapatid, lagi ko sinasabi sa inyo, Hama TV. Yan.
There
I-follow
we go.
nyo lang Hama TV. Yun lang yun.
Across everything, right? On Instagram
Yeah.
and whatnot. And there we go. And of course, your YouTube channel, right?
Oh, my YouTube channel is Coach Hama Official, and you
There we
can
go.
follow me up also on TikTok, which is Hama TV. Yun lang.
Yon, there we go. All right. Once again, Coach Hama, thank you for having me. This has been episode 5 of Cinnamon Sessions. Once again, my name is Captain Cinnamon. This is Hama TV. We'll see you guys later. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Peace out.